Thank you for joining us today to discover another Top 10 Worst. We hope that you enjoy the video. Heists are often seen as the pinnacle of criminal ingenuity, the stuff of Hollywood legends. However, not all heists are Ocean's 11 material. Some end up so botched, they could be a plotline for the next slapstick comedy. Here are 10 heists that failed so spectacularly, they deserve to be immortalized, not in crime history, but in the annals of absurdity. 1. The Kentucky Library Heist, daring to fail. Imagine 4 college students deciding that instead of studying, they'd rather emulate Danny Ocean and steal some rare books. The plan was ambitious, to say the least. They dressed up like old men, which sounds like the beginning of a bad joke. Unsurprisingly, things went downhill fast. After subduing a librarian, one of the geniuses blew their cover by calling her by a nickname that only someone who knew her personally would use. Sherlock Holmes, these guys were not. They were arrested and sentenced to 7 years, trading in their rare books for prison library cards. 2. Pretoria's Highway Heist, the world's worst ambush. South Africa's highway heists are no joke, but this one took a turn for the hilarious when it met Leo Prinsloo, an armored truck driver with nerves of steel. The robbers thought they had the upper hand with their weapons and numbers. Prinsloo, however, must have watched too many action movies. He swerved, dodged, and rammed until the robbers decided they'd had enough of this real-life GTA and fled. The loot? Safe. The robbers? Empty-handed. The story? Legendary. 3. The Temple Heist, when gods don't approve. In 2022, thieves in India thought they hit the jackpot by stealing ancient idols from a 300-year-old temple. But karma, or divine retribution, was swift. Stricken by guilt, or perhaps plagued by some divine curses and night terrors, they returned the loot with a note begging for forgiveness. This was less Ocean's 11 and more Scooby-Doo when they realized they messed with the wrong haunted house. 4. Florida Bank Heist, the getaway driver who slept on the job. Nothing says professional like robbing a bank, right? Well, that's unless your getaway driver is sleeping off a hangover. In 2010, 3 criminals attempted to rob a bank in South Beach on a Sunday, thinking it would be an easy job. They were wrong. The vault was locked, and the heist was already in shambles. But the cherry on top, their getaway driver was found snoozing at the wheel, reeking of booze. Unsurprisingly, they all got caught. Lesson learned: always check your driver's sobriety. 5. The Salvador Dali Heist, the Great Rikers Island Fiasco. Stealing a Salvador Dali painting. Sounds like a masterstroke. Trying to replace it with a cheap imitation. That's where it falls apart. In 2003, 4 Rikers Island prison employees decided they needed some fine art in their lives and stole a Dali painting. They left behind a pathetic replica, which fooled absolutely no one. The art was never recovered, but the ringleader ended up behind bars, this time, not as an employee. 6. The Loomis Fargo Heist, when millions can't buy you cents. $17 million. That's how much David Gant and his band of merry idiots managed to steal from Loomis Fargo in 1997. But being thieves, they somehow missed the part where you're supposed to lay low after a heist. Gant left behind security footage of himself and spent the money like a lottery winner on a spree. When your accomplices are buying mansions and sports cars days after the heist, it tends to draw attention. The FBI came knocking, and 24 people were arrested. The kicker? $2 million is still missing, probably hiding with the common sense. 7. Barclays Bank Heist, when a disguise isn't enough. Dean Smith tried to rob his local Barclays Bank in 2014 using a very creative disguise. He put on glasses and a hat, which might have worked, if he hadn't been there just hours earlier without the disguise. The teller recognized him instantly, and Dean's attempt at a low-budget mission impossible ended in his arrest. Some people just aren't cut out for a life of crime. 8. ATM Heist, the blowtorch blunder. 2 men in Everett, Washington, thought they could break into an ATM using a blowtorch in 2016. Unfortunately, they never took a physics class. Instead of opening the machine, they ended up welding it shut and setting all the cash on fire. Panicked, they fled the scene empty-handed. Perhaps next time they'll use something less likely to self-destruct, like maybe a sledgehammer. 9. Rick James-inspired robbery spree, super freaky felons. Dressing like Rick James might get you noticed at a party, but it's not a great idea for a robbery. In 2015, 3 men decided to channel the funky vibes of the 80s while robbing several financial institutions. But those iconic costumes made them easy to spot and even easier to remember. After a high-speed chase, they were caught and sentenced to prison, where sadly, glittery boots and sequined jackets are not standard issue. 10. Van Gogh Museum Heist, the flat tire failure. In 1991, a group of thieves pulled off what seemed like a flawless heist at the Van Gogh Museum, making off with 20 priceless paintings. But even the best-laid plans can be undone by something as trivial as a flat tire. They were forced to abandon their loot when their getaway vehicle suffered a flat. The paintings were recovered, and the robbers were eventually arrested. It seems they forgot to plan for basic car maintenance. Next time, they might want to check their tire pressure before setting out to steal millions in art. These heist fails are a reminder that not everyone is cut out for a life of crime. Whether it's due to poor planning, bad luck, or sheer stupidity, these attempts ended in hilarity rather than riches. So, if you're ever tempted to go down the path of criminal genius, remember, it might just end up as a punchline. If you would like to see more videos like this, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you and have a great day.